What's up, y'all? LTJ Reeves is here, and this is Throwing Light. And if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. I'm excited to get to our next interview. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody to please follow my YouTube channel where you can find the Throwing Light interviews, plus the new Throwing Light tours that I'm doing, and some cool projects that I'm working on for the community and for my personal ambitions. So just please, after you watch this video, go subscribe, tell everybody else to subscribe, and then we're going to have a great time, all right? Okay, so kicking off, I've got our guest here, Mr. Eric Holland McGuire.
That's right.
Mr.
That's my full name.
Mr. Eagle NYC 2024.
That's correct. Yes.
I know who you are.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a fan.
Oh well, I'm a big fan too.
All right, so we're here at the NYC Eagle. They're getting ready to open up the bar. I wanted to snatch up Eric and have a little one-on-one time before we get ready for a panel. So I'm going to get started. You know, this is my IMO brother. We were at IMO 46 together. We didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together. So there was no way I was going to come here and not connect with you. So I just feel like that's important.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I thought about you. First, I said, "There's no way I could come here and do this without you."
I was waiting for my invite. Yeah. I was tired of watching all these throwing the lights.
Yes, this is long overdue. This should have happened. So before we get off into the meteor stuff, the meteor parts of the discussion, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in community?
Sure, absolutely. So, first of all, thank you for asking me, and I also want to thank you for bringing the warm Texas weather with you. That's very much appreciated. For those of you that know, we rarely get snow in New York, but we have some fairly significant inches.
I left Texas winter storm and came here for the New York winter storm. Yeah. So, hey, but it's not that bad. I've been trucking through. There's even a moment where I had a brown paper bag with a beer standing on the street last night in the snow. So
I felt
like a real New Yorker.
That's very New York. Yeah. Yeah. As the rat is chasing the pizza and all that shit. Well, you know what? I don't have a story that's really all that dramatic. I'm really, kind of your run-of-the-mill leather man. I was thinking about this before I came in today, assuming that this was going to be our discussion, and I was thinking about my experience when I first got to this Eagle in particular. I was living a different life. I was not the person I am today. I was actually first introduced to the Eagle franchise. I went to school at the University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, sorry, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and my heart goes out to all of them. But I would say back in 2000, let's say 2002 was the first time I went to an Eagle bar, and that was the Minneapolis Eagle. And I remember feeling it was this wanting to be a part of. So just a little bit about myself. I'm an only child. My parents had me kind of later in their years. So as I grew up, I didn't have a lot of, I don't want to say childhood experiences, but I definitely grew up more of an adult. I got along much better with my with my friends' parents than I did my friends, really, at the end of the day. So there was something about going to the Eagle, feeling this sense of camaraderie. Minneapolis is super liberal, really comfortable for people like us. And, there's a myriad of gay bars that, are your typical, circuit bars. But the Eagle I was always drawn to that place. Fast forward, I moved to New York from Minneapolis in 2008. And at the time I was with my partner. We had been together for a number of years, and yeah, we were together for. Oh, this isn't my husband. This is an earlier.
Okay.
This is a. Please, he would have killed me long before now. No, so my partner at the time and I decided to move to New York, and I remember walking into this bar in particular and just being blown away at the magnitude of it and just the energy. And it was everything that the Minneapolis bar was, but on steroids.
Yeah.
but just to circle back to what I was saying about being a different person, throughout those formative years of me being in college and graduating and, coming into the scene, I fell victim to some pretty significant drug and alcohol abuse. Okay. And I say that for no other reason than at the time, due to my addiction, I couldn't really perform is the right word, but the wrong word. But I couldn't really be who I wanted to be from the perspective of kink and leather, because I was incapable of taking care of myself, and I wasn't able to live my life without fear of not knowing how I'm going to get home, or making sure I hold on to my wallet every night. So it was a kind of a dangerous, scary time. But I came into this bar, and for those of you who've never been in the New York Eagle, there's an elevator, because there's a number of floors here, and inside the elevator is a leather shop. And it's funny because sometimes, right now, there's one. I mean, it's not open right now, but tonight you'll see it. And what will happen is, if somebody needs to get upstairs that can't use the stairs, they'll send the elevator downstairs, and you'll see people at the bar, and the look on their face when they know they saw it on the second floor, and then they're downstairs, and then they see it again, and then they don't really know where they're at because anyway. So I mentioned that story for another reason. I bought my first piece of leather here, my actual first piece of leather, and for everybody that knows me now, as kind of like a dominant sir and handler, I bought this leather pup collar, and I was so attracted to the idea of being kind of tugged around this bar wearing this collar, because I felt a part of, and it was at that time that I really kind of fell in love with this community within the community. So just to circle back on what I was kind of referencing earlier as being an only child and kind of being alone, my entire life I've craved connection, but more importantly, a feeling of belonging. So, absolutely, are we in a chosen family, surrounding ourselves with people that we love, of like mind? But in the leather community, it's almost like this, and I don't want to say it's a secret club, because that's absolutely not what it is or should be. But at the time, I felt like, here I am being a part of something that is bigger than me, that is not just, being, a drunk twink on the dance floor.
It has historical significance too.
Absolutely. So to answer your question in a really obnoxious roundabout way, that's kind of how I got into leather. And, over the years, my life, fortunately or unfortunately, definitely went in the wrong direction. I wound up losing that boyfriend. I had I was fortunate to have a job that paid very well. I ended up leaving that for my addiction. So I kind of burned everything to the ground, basically. And it wasn't until I got sober was I able to kind of identify the fact that it was the substance abuse that was robbing me of the control that I really wanted. So once I got sober, my eyes were open to this whole new world of participating in a community in which now I'm not at the mercy of, the 12th gin and tonic I would inevitably have that night, but now I'm in control of myself. And with that comes, it comes with a lot of responsibility, but in the leather community, it really lent itself to stewardship and mentorship. And I found myself wanting to not only be there for other people that were struggling, but, helping people get through their own journey, whatever that may be. So I've found my experience being a title holder, our experience at IML, One of those things that truly has been instrumental in kind of codifying my um, my understanding of why we are here together, and it makes it all the more important for me.
So so we have a lot in common, but my sobriety is in stepped in sync with my life in this community. So ever since I became a Leatherman, I met my first mentor August of 2022. And then I was here October 2022 when they were buying the franchise for Austin Eagle. So, and then I had no idea I would become the first Mr. Austin Eagle. But since I relapsed in November 2022, and I was like, this is not going to work. Like I've got to reinvent myself. I've got to build myself up. And yeah, I mean, I was fucking on crystal meth, and I lost almost a decade of my life. But like this whole interest into the leather community really brought me back. I can't tell you how much shit I've accomplished since we left the IML stage. It's just like I'm not a wuzzy,
Yeah.
I am an Emmy, I guess, or something. I don't know. So now my sobriety is connected to not wanting to disappoint the people that are uplifting me right now. And I just don't want to cross that line where I have to come out and feel humiliated that I wasn't strong enough. But I am strong enough. And yeah, this community saved my life when it comes to addiction.
Yeah, I love that. And I also want to just commend you because I couldn't be more proud of. I was a I was a little apprehensive about this interview for no other reason than I had seen clips of other episodes, but I actually spent a few days really kind of pouring through them, and I am just beyond impressed on, like, not only did you come up with something, but you've stuck with it, and you've really made something that is. I mean, the fact that you got the owners of the Eagle NYC to open up the doors at 7 7 p.m. when they normally open at 10. Like
Humbling,
that,
humbling.
yeah, that is very impressive. So
And it's like, and people don't realize that you see, because look, we have a former, well, I want to call him former. We have a leather brother that left our chat. That's younger. Who did not take not getting top 20 very well. And unfortunately, I feel like we did try to be supportive to this person, but they couldn't get out of their head. So it's just interesting going through something with so many people. Obviously, I'm close to the people that were in group one. I got time to spend with other people. We weren't in the same group, but it's just interesting. Like, and I see you still going and doing things. Like, I just feel like for people like us, there's like not an end. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you raise a really good point, and there's in my opinion, there's probably a myriad of reasons why people act the way they do in situations in which it's hyper stressful. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of energy went into it. I have to imagine age comes into play at some point, a level of maturity. But I find, so long as you can say that your side of the street is clean, you don't have the control over how this individual is going to act, and life is full of those people, and it's kind of how we navigate our lives. um you know the adage of, it's it's attraction over promotion. Like, if you can hold yourself in a way that other people can look at you as a Leatherman and say, I aspire to be like you because look at all of the stuff that you've accomplished. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
That's that's what I mean. That's ultimately the win. And I don't know. I just I hate this is for anyone because I'm on 48's coming up. Like you've got to look at this as a showcase of your talents in the community. It's a snapshot, okay? But what you do after that is completely up to you. If you want to phase out, we have people that have phased out. If you want to stick around, we have people that stuck around. If you want to run for another title, we have people that run for another title. Though you can't go to IML again now, but
I don't
sorry.
know if that can work. I mean, yeah.
Well, look, I had thought about running for another title, but not with the goal of IML anyway.
Yeah.
So, but now I'm at the point where it's like I've just transcended that. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the questions can be answered just by trying to identify what's your intention. Like, are you running, not you, but if somebody were to pose the question of should I do this, should I not, you ask yourself, well, what's my intention in doing any of this stuff? And usually, you know, if you can be honest with yourself, which is a lot easier said than done, it usually answers the question for you. You know, you speak about our time at IML, and you know, I remember kind of not. I don't want to say I was standing back, but I remember there were a handful of instances where I just would take stock of our situation and just be so grateful that we were able to experience it together. You know, do I think you'd have that same experience if you were to do it all over again? I don't think so, because it would kind of have lost its kind of first time novelty.
I mean, we've just in our time. I mean, I've seen people compete twice.
Yeah, and you know what? If that's what they want to do, again, it's really not my place to say it. I don't think it's anybody's place. But I guess the one thing I do want to kind of just emphasize, and I think it's more important in kind of the climate that we're in today, is, you know, we can be adamant about decisions that we've made or stances that we hold. And I'm just thinking about people that I'm close to in my life that, you know, probably have not made the best decisions, and maybe finding themselves in a predicament in which they're embarrassed or they're ashamed. But for anybody that needs to hear this, you have every right to change your mind at any time about anything for whatever reason. You know, and I think that's really important that people understand that, you know, you are in control of yourself. And if you spend half as much energy on yourself as you may do trying to control other people in which you have zero control, you know, I think you can really make a difference in that regard.
I agree. And I think a lot of times, you know, we don't realize the power we have to make those decisions, you know. And so, you know, what has been something that has been keeping your interest, you know, post IML? Like, what has been kind of like, you know, what is Eric going to do from here?
Well, as far as the leather community is concerned, I actually do sit on the board of directors for IML. I found myself in the talents that I possess in my big boy job, to kind of lend itself to a need that there was a hole in that organization that needed to be filled, and I think you know, I'm looking forward to improving it in that regard. But I have to be honest with you, and maybe you picked this up at IML, but I am not one that loves the limelight. I strive to be the behind the scenes guy. I love my husband. I love him to death. He is the star of the show, and he does it well. If I can be behind him, supporting him, no name, no recognition, like that's where I can really shine.
So you remember what you told me when I pulled number one?
I don't. No, sorry.
You were like, you wish it was you. You said you wanted to be number one.
That can't possibly be right.
That's just
There's no way I would have said that.
Because we didn't know. At first, I thought you were being shady, and I had to kind of like, did he like? But no, you said you. Oh, because I was freaking out, and you were like, "Why are you freaking out?" Like I would have it. You were kind of because I was freaking out.
Oh, I know what I was. I know what my intention was.
You were trying to make me calm.
Yeah,
like, I get it now.
Yeah,
like, totally. Yeah. I was freaking out.
And you actually raised a good point, and that's like it's odd because for somebody, I hope that after getting to know me a little better, that you'd know that
Of
couldn't have been
course.
further
No,
from my
no, no,
intention.
no. I get
But
what
you
you're-
know, as somebody that's not in the limelight all the time and super vocal about everything, it's very easy to come across as kind of somebody that has their own agenda. But you know, it's just
that's other people though, like trying to create that narrative.
100%. Yeah, I'm just saying. I guess the point I'm trying to make is there. You know, as many people as you have that are loud and boisterous, we need those people, absolutely. But there's a lot of us worker bees in the background that are very content with not being, you know, up there. Now I'm, you know, now that you say that, I wonder what. I guarantee you, my intention of saying I wish I was number one was to alleviate.
I was freaking out. You were like, I would have liked to be number. It was something along that,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Like I know why you said that.
Sure.
I was
Yeah.
was freaking
I mean,
out.
and rightly so, because it's intense.
But like I didn't. You have to like. I felt like an introvert when we were in our class, and I just didn't know how. Like when I felt like when I pulled number one, like I just went into this like space that only I was in.
Sure.
And I just couldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm glad it happened. It ultimately was a blessing in disguise because it was able to ride that wave of having that number.
100%.
But you know, everyone does IML. When you go through IML, you know, you get your placements and whatever, and you just have to kind of take the moment. I took it as constructive criticism, you know, my placement. And so I just knew that being so young in the community, I needed to work on my stage presence. I need to work on my fashion as a leather person. Those are things that I'm still working on. But when it came down to having the heart, all that stuff, I've got that. And I was able to keep going. And it's just, I'm at this point now where it's just like, you know, you're doing, you know, you're on the board of IML. That's freaking amazing. Like a lot of us are trying to do things. And, you know, I wasn't going to announce this until April, but I'll be in charge of putting the POC caucus together now. Mufasa Ali gave me that responsibility.
That's amazing.
You guys are hearing this for the first time, but you're not going to hear anything else about it until April. So, but it was a step in every, like when we came back last year and you know, I did the reunion there, I was sitting on the panel and it's just to see that work. And then now you're being entrusted with something that's going on since 1997. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the win. So, you know, you're involved, I'm involved. I think that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
And we don't need to be front and center. We need to be helping guide other people.
100%. And the other thing, just for your edification, anybody else listening, like I implore you to give yourself grace and be kind to yourself because, you know, this board is fairly new as far as the membership is concerned, and mistakes are going to be made. You know, and more importantly, it would be foolish to think that you're going to please everyone. Like that's just not a reality.
Yeah.
But getting back to what I was saying about intention, if you can find confidence in knowing that the people that are running these contests or these kink weekends are coming from a place of good intentions, it hopefully will alleviate some of whatever frustration that people, you know, I think people are frustrated about a lot of things today, as they should be, and sometimes it's difficult to pin down exactly what you're really frustrated about until you hear something that you're familiar with, and it's just an easy kind of grab. And I think sometimes emotions get high and anger is elevated, not so much because of the particular issue, but kind of the situation that we all find ourselves in. But at the same time, you know, it's up to all of us to just make the right decisions. And
what made you want to get involved with the board?
Well, you know, so I'm formally trained as a web developer, and I remember when we were running, you know, I probably spent more time pouring through that website than I had ever, you know, in years past. And as a web developer, it's just tragic. Like the website was just just horrendous, awful.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the impetus of me kind of putting out my feelers. The leadership was turning over. I knew somebody that was kind of uh, gunning for the director's position. It didn't happen to work out, but they found themselves in a position that's actually probably more suited for them anyway. So yeah, it's another way for me to participate, be a part of, without having to, be the director and the writer and the actor all at the same time. Which, people that like to be in control want to do all of that, but you got to be realistic, and you also have to be understanding of your own like bandwidth. um, you know I'm somebody that wants to do everything, like my drinking and my drugging. I wasn't just gonna dip a toe in,
You went all the way.
yeah, I don't want a beer, I want all the beers, so I find myself, even in recovery, I have a disease of excess, so I have to be mindful of how I spend my time and what I devote it into. So my work with the IML board, being a new crop of leadership, I thought was a really good opportunity to kind of get in at the ground level and maybe right some wrongs that had perpetuated themselves through kind of a stagnant mindset.
Yeah.
I thought that was important. And then, to be able to do something that I love, and I love creating. I like to exercise my mind and my talents in that regard. So it was kind of a perfect fit. And I'll just say this: I am the biggest proponent of everything happening for a reason.
Okay.
And that sounds really Pollyanna-ish when like shit's really in the toilet and it's like nothing's going right, and you know but if I can't tell you how many times in my life where I've been so disappointed in something that didn't work out because it went against what I wanted to happen, for whatever that may have been. And it wouldn't be until years later would dawn on me, thinking, God, just think, had I gone down this path that I thought I wanted to go down, I would never have found myself in New York. I would never have found myself on the stage wearing the title. I would never have found myself at IML, not meeting you, sitting here. Like, it's like if you and then the other thing that I kind of really get wild thinking about is all the stuff that happens that you don't even realize that you avoided. Disasters that you skated past because you were frustrated because you left your keys on the counter and you had to run back and get them, but by doing that, you didn't get hit by a bus on the way downstairs. So it's stuff like that if you can kind of just,
It's very Final Destination.
it's very Final Destination. No, I don't mean to sound that like bleak, but with that said, it's like if you can put some faith in the universe. And I'm not a religious person, but I'm definitely spiritual in that regard. I think there's a lot to be said about kind of letting it go, and kind of trusting in whatever that power may be,
Yeah.
because good things happen to good people, and we're good people.
Good. I think, and then sometimes bad things happen to good people.
That's true.
But the thing is that it's how you make light of the situation or make it better. I think you're hitting on so many amazing things, but like definitely spirituality in terms of just I think that the mind is a powerful thing. And everything that you see me doing now was just a thought in my head, and then I manifested into reality. And I feel like if we all used our minds and really manifested things, like it could really happen. Like what we're going through right now as a community or in our country, if we just manifest for the evil to stop, like just keep like pushing against. It's when you kind of give up in the mind that things get worse. But like everybody knows that what we're seeing right now is absolutely horrendous, absolutely inhumane, makes no sense whatsoever. But we're the leaders of today. We are the historical people that they're going to write about. Like what I realized, Eric, is that we're not a huge community, but because of that reason, when we make an impact in our community, it seems so much bigger. And it's like in some way we are famous, at least in our community, you know what I'm saying? And we're um what's the word? Not celebrities, but public figures. And it's up to you if you want to give that away. But what's great is to see that we can all find our lane and just trust in what our purposes are. Look, someone posted online or something like the other day. It was a post I saw, and they were like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know why I'm here. And I was just thinking, I'm like, I feel like I know what I'm doing right now is my purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm giving it 110%. And I just find that really saddening because there are a lot of people that have not found these wonderful communities to be a part of or this leather family to be a part of. And I really want that for people. But some people just don't have the tool set to know to do better for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, everything you say is spot on. I think for those people that you're referencing that might be struggling, um, the suggestion that I would offer is, um, I find that I find the things I'm looking for when I'm not looking for them. I think that applies to a lot of things. I think if you're open with what you want and you kind of put that out in the universe, I think things present themselves when they're supposed to. Um, yeah, it's one of those things that is really easier said than done, like most. Um, and you know sometimes when you try to rush things, that also can backfire. um, you know at the end of the day, you can't just say, well, I'm going to just throw my arms up in the air and just hope for the best. I don't think that's the answer either. You have to put action behind what you're doing. But like, to your point, you had an idea, and look what has grown from this, and it's incredible, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself. And um, you know as soon as you take a moment to stop thinking about what you should be doing, um, because somebody else thinks you should be doing this or that or the other, and you just kind of listen to your own heart and let that guide you, I mean, you're going to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. I think, well, I guess in some way you might not know what you're looking for, but I think I was like that. But now I found, and I didn't know what I was like. I was looking for what I found. Like, it's just hard to explain, but like, you just have, my life has improved so much.
Yeah.
Just so much. I can't, like I said, my life has been saved. You know what I'm saying? So when you feel like a community uplifts you and gives you something, you want to give that much back to it. And I'm loyal, like this is my chosen family. um I can leave the country and go to the UK or go to Amsterdam. I can go to Germany and I got family there, like. And I hate for people that drop that and don't realize that the part of this is a familyhood.
Mhm.
And that, yes, IML is a great thing and it's an amazing thing, and only so many of us get to be a part of it. But there's just, like you say, there's so many other ways to be a part of IML than just being a contestant on the stage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what you're doing is literally helping the organization.
Yeah.
Let's see where we are in time. Okay. So all right, Eric. So this is the question I'm going to give you that I give everyone towards the end.
Okay.
What is one aspect of our community that you feel that we're not shedding enough light on?
Okay, and it's a great question. I mean, if I think about everything, and not to step on anybody else's experiences, for myself, I think we could be doing a better job shining lights on care, and like the soft kind of care. So if you think about people in recovery, aging, mental health, stigma heavy kinks, everybody that fits into a lesser of a loud narrative. Um, we do a really great job of celebrating visibility, but I think that the work that's ahead of us is to not just invite people to the table, but set the table so that they want to stay.
Yeah. That's a beautiful way. Thank you so much for the answer. All right, y'all. Well, that has been my interview with Eric. I want to go ahead and invite you to come back on again. We'll figure that out.
Awesome.
There's more here. We're getting closer to IML. You're going to be at IML, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to try my best to put another reunion together. Well, with that, the light is flickering.
Yeah.
Does that mean like
Last
stop?
call, I guess.
So, there's one thing that we have to do before I let you go. What is that?
Well, the one thing that I have to do is if you're not throwing light, you're not doing it right.
Okay,
That's
we'll
right.
take that. Doing it right.
Oh, you ain't doing it right?
No, I like that though. If you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. But
you're
if
not
you're not,
acting right.
if you're not throwing light, you're not doing it right. That is our second new slogan. Thank you.
Trademark.
We have two. We have
I love
two.
it.
So I like that too.
All right.
Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you.
I wanna
Appreciate
hug
it.
you. Yeah. That is it, y'all.
All right.
Thank you so much.